What's up, everybody? So today I wanted to talk about, I got in this talk today with one of my friends at work. You know, I still have to go to work, and I work for a pool company, HD Pools. But I was talking to one of the guys that work with me, and he was like, you know, we had some downtime basically, you know, and I was like doing stuff on my phone for my business and for what I got going on, you know, and I was keeping busy. And he was like, man, he was like, you always be on like the business thing, man. I need to find something for myself. I need to create something for myself. And he was like, I need to set a goal. And it got me thinking, like, you know, how do you set a goal, you know? So I wanted to make a video today about setting a goal and what I found to be the best way to consume your whole body, like your heart and all of it, consume into what you're doing and your goal. And I think that the first thing, you know, you want to enjoy your life. You know, you don't want to have a boring life. You don't want to be bored. You shouldn't ever be bored, you know. And so, you know, if you're feeling bored, if you're feeling down lately, and, you know, it's just like the same thing day after day after day, and you're looking for something new, my suggestion is to, you know, there's this thing about human beings. And we all have a tendency to want to help others. I think all of us want to help others, and it's just something in here, you know. It's just something, we're programmed like that. So what worked for me was thinking about how I could help a bunch of people. Okay, now for me, I wanted to help out, you know, a charity, so I started a business, and part of the funds go to charity. So that was my idea. That was my goal that I set. You know, I was just like, I was so bored, and I was just like, man, what am I good at? What can I do? You know, and that's another part of it. You know, you have to know what you're good at. That way you can set your goal around what you're good at. You know, that way you can build upon what you're good at. Because I think, like I said, I don't know if you watched the other video, but you know, you can spend all the time in the world doing something you're not even good at, and you know, and it would just be a waste of time. So I mean, you could get better at it, but why not focus on the things you are good at already, and you could become a master at it, you know? Because everybody, I believe everybody is best at one thing. There's something that you're the best at, that in the entire world you're the best at, and you just have to find it. So setting a goal, you know, and it doesn't have to be big, but just something that you can like start putting into your day, and like, you know, how can you help others? And then set something up. So that's what I told my buddy today. I was just like, man, why don't you set something up that helps other people? He was like, yeah. He was like, you know, I can draw real well. And, you know, so I was like, all right, well, take it somewhere, man. Maybe, you know, you want to set up something that, like, you draw, and, you know, you sell your drawings online, and all your, or 50% goes to charity or whatever. You know, it could be anything. It could be anything. Use your imagination. For me, I love charity. I think that's a great way to do it. Mine, I like St. Jude's Children's Hospital, because they all these kids get free medical work done, which is awesome. Another thing that is really important about setting goals is you have to write it down. You know, you have to make this intangible thought that's up in here, and no one else can really see it, so it's kind of not real. You have to bring it into this world, into this physical world. You have to take it out of your intangible thoughts and put it into something real. So write it down. It makes it real. It makes it part of this universe. It makes it an actual thing. You know, I write down my goals every year in January, and I write down what I want to happen this year. And I looked at it the other day, man, I'm right on track. You know, just because I wrote it down though. But writing it down isn't enough too, though. You need to be in it all the time and constantly remind yourself what you're doing. You know, I always have to constantly remind myself, like, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I have to do to, you know, get to my goal. Okay, so right here, I love Ralph Waldo Emerson. He's a great writer. He wrote the essay on compensation. If you haven't read that, I strongly suggest it. It's just a great piece of literature. But he says, the purpose of life is not to be happy. It's to be useful, honorable, compassionate, and make a difference that you've lived, and that you lived well. Okay? So, you know, people are always chasing this happiness. I think it is about being happy a little bit, but I think by focusing on making a difference in what you can do and focusing on being useful for other people, I think you end up helping yourself. And I think you end up helping you know, yourself in the long run by helping other people. So I got a story to tie this whole thing together, and it's just a clever little story. And okay, so there's this old lady. She's in her car, and she has a flat tire. Okay, she's on the side of the road, and nobody's been coming by. She's really old, and she can't change her tire by herself. And she's just like, what am I gonna do, you know? And then it starts raining on top of that, and it's just like, oh my goodness, this old lady, she's having a terrible day right now. Okay, so this guy, he passes her in his car, and he's like, oh wow, you know, they got a flat tire, maybe I should get out and help. So he does. He gets out in the rain, and he's like, and he sees though that the lady's kind of afraid of him because he's not dressed very well, and he's kind of got like scruff going on, and he, you know, it's kind of a scary situation. So it's getting a little bit dark too. So the old lady's freaked out. You know, she's like, you know, a little bit scared of this guy, and he's just trying to help. So he comes up. He's like, "Ma'am, my name's Bryan Anderson. I'm Bryan, and I'm here. I just want to help you. Okay, let me help you." And she's like, you know, and so he helps her. He ends up changing the tire, and he gets all muddy and stuff, and he's like, he's done. He got the tire changed for her, and she then actually, you know, she says, you know, hey, what can I give you? What can I pay you? You know, she's well off, by the way. She's got a really nice car, and he's not so well off, obviously, because he's not dressed very well, and his car is kind of a junk pile down the road. It's the junk pile down the road. So. But she's really well off, you know. She's been doing good for many years. So she's like, let me write you a check. And the guy's like, no. And she's like, come on, I insist. Come on, you deserve it. And he's like, no, for real. Just help somebody else next time you see them in a situation. So just pass this along, and make sure you remember my name, Bryan Anderson, when you do it. And she's like, you know, okay, I could do that. I can definitely help out somebody. So she's like, you know, wow, that was a really nice thing that guy did for me, you know. And she's kind of like contemplating on it, and she goes to this restaurant, you know, to her get her coffee in. She wants to get a biscuit or something, and she's sitting there, and she's watching this waitress that's there, and the waitress is pregnant, and she is just so you can tell she's been working all day. But she's got this bright smile, you know. She's really happy. She's like really nice to all the customers, and she's just sitting there drinking her cup of coffee, watching her, and how nice she is to everybody, and just like enjoying her life and enjoying, you know, what's going on. And at the end, she tries to pay, the lady like pay, and she leaves a big tip. She leaves a $100 bill with a note attached to it, and it says, keep this train of love for others going. So the lady, so she picks up the napkin of the note, and there's $400 more under there. So there's $500, and that's a big tip. That's a big tip, $500. I've never had that tip. My biggest tip, I think, when I was a server was like $50. So she's having a good day. Okay, and so she's like, she goes home, and she's like, you know, really happy that she got this $500, because, you know, her home life isn't so good. So she goes home, and she's like telling her husband and stuff, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this lady gave me $500 for this tip, and, you know, she didn't even know how much I needed it. And like, she's, you know, they got house payments and stuff, they're about to lose the house, the electricity, and she needed that money bad, right? So she goes to her husband, and she's like, it's been such a great day, honey. I love you, Bryan Anderson. And she kisses him. And so her husband was Bryan Anderson. And that's just a story. It's just to show you that by setting out to help someone else, you're going to help yourself. And I think that's a true statement. So help other people, set a goal. Be useful, make your life useful. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but it'll turn into a big thing if you start it. You have to start right now, you know. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. Okay, so I hope you got some out of this. I will be talking to you soon. Stay positive and persevere.